European Parliament President Roberta Metsola has made an unannounced visit to Ukraine, where she held talks with President Volodymyr Zelensky.
The European Union will send medical and nutritional supplies to the Democratic Republic of Congo as the French president visits Kinshasa.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has welcomed the President of the European Parliament, Roberta Metsola, to Lviv in what is her second visit to the country since Russia's invasion. She promised him that cooperation between Kyiv and the EU Parliament would only grow stronger, and said she hoped that Ukraine would be allowed to begin European Union membership negotiations this year. Brussels granted Kyiv formal candidate status in June last year. In a Twitter post, she said it was good to be back in Ukraine and praised what she described as its brave people who refuse to give in and are sacrificing everything for their common values. Zelensky also took to social media to thank Metsola for her leadership in supporting Ukraine from the start of the war. After the meeting, Metsola was taken on a walking tour of the city with the Speaker of Ukraine's parliament.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you.
Empty streets in Bakhmut in the east of Ukraine as fighting takes place in the streets of the city, which is almost surrounded by Russian forces. Ukrainian soldiers fire from a howitzer on nearby Russian positions. Kyiv has pledged to defend Fortress Bakhmut for as long as possible, but it's racing to evacuate residents from the city as Russian troops advance. Capturing Bakhmut would not only give Russian fighters a rare battlefield win after months of setbacks, but it also might rupture Ukraine's supply lines and allow Kremlin's forces to press on to other Ukrainian strongholds in the eastern region. The Kremlin says Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu has inspected a forward command post in the southern Donetsk zone without specifying the exact location, proximity to the front line or the date of the visit.
A ceasefire in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo set for Tuesday means the European Union can fly out medical and nutritional supplies via a humanitarian air bridge to Goma. France is supporting the move as a Team Europe initiative for the area plagued by armed groups. French President Emmanuel Macron visited Kinshasa on Saturday on the last leg of his tour in Africa. The EU will also release more than €47 million. The European Commissioner for Crisis Management said the EU stands ready to mobilise all the necessary means to support humanitarian workers. And the French President says France is well and truly on board with the scheme.
Face à une histoire dont le nombre de victimes équivaut à celui des guerres mondiales que nous avons vécues, la France ne prétend pas et je ne prétends pas avoir seule une solution. La solution est dans un réveil collectif. C'est pour cette raison que la France sera le premier État à répondre à l'initiative de l'Union européenne.
However, with anti-French sentiment running high in the region and Russian and Chinese influence growing, French ties with Kinshasa are frayed. Hundreds marched in the city protesting against Mr. Macron's visit, with many demonstrators holding up Russian flags.
United Nations nuclear watchdog chief Rafael Grossi says he's held what he described as constructive talks with Iranian officials in Tehran. His visit came amid concern over the discovery at a plant of uranium particles enriched to near weapons-grade level.
There was a reduction in some of the monitoring activities related to cameras, related to online enrichment mechanisms in terms of flow monitoring systems which were not operating. So we have agreed that those will be operating again.
Grossi says the talks could pave the way for the revival of the landmark 2015 agreement, under which Iran curbed its disputed uranium enrichment program in return for a relief from international sanctions.